Hello and welcome to Reporters, the show that goes beyond the headlines for a look at the issues that lie behind them. Today we head to the border that divides Ecuador from Colombia, where, far from the cameras of the world, people have been slowly being poisoned. The substance involved is called Roundup. It's a powerful herbicide that the Colombian government has been spraying on coca fields for more than 20 years now. Bogota's aim is to eradicate the production of cocaine, which is one of the FARC rebellion's main sources of revenue. Such is Colombia's determination, though, to achieve that aim, that it is the only country in the world to go so far as to spray illegal crops from the air. The problem now is the consequences of 20 years of spraying on both the environment and the health of locals. This report, Poison Against Poison, was filed by our correspondents Marc Bouchage and Maudrieux.
Ecuador, just a few kilometers from the Colombian border. The woman leading the way has had threats. She only agrees to speak to us under cover of anonymity. She takes us to see the grave of two of her children.
My daughter came looking for me and told me her little sister was throwing up. I asked why and set off running. She was vomiting blood. It was blood, and she had a fever. I took her to Lago Agrio, but she died as she was being taken to the hospital.
A year after Edith died, Taylor, born deformed, died aged 3 months. That was a decade and a half ago.
They started fumigations in the year 2000. We didn't know what the planes in the sky were doing. We were happy to see them flying overhead. The children even more so. They thought it was fun. They said, "Mom, can you see the planes?" We didn't realize. It was only later we learned they were fumigating chemicals.
This is the kind of plane flying near the border.
We are on the San Miguel River. Colombia is on that side, and Ecuador on the other.
Many people here have reported being poisoned, including this Ecuadorian national, Juan Manuel Ortega. He's been living in the western Amazon, bordering the San Miguel River for 40 years. His village is in an area that normally has fertile land, but it hasn't been fertile for around a decade. These cocoa trees are rotting away.
Look at the state of this cocoa bean. It's completely rotten.
He says there is no doubt about the cause of the damage.
We were always seeing planes high in the sky. I saw them and could smell them. There was a smell in the air.
But it was on the Colombian side.
It was in the border area right along the San Miguel River. A lot of planes also flew over on this side of the border, on the Ecuadorian side. It was a real shock when the planes flew over. It was like it was the last day of our lives and the world was about to end. We'd never heard so much noise.
This Colombian television footage shows a spraying operation. Planes drop a chemical product called Roundup on coca plantations to destroy the plant. Its leaves are used to manufacture cocaine. It's hard to believe in the Colombian capital, Bogota, that the country is at war. It has been battling a number of guerrilla groups for 5 decades, the most well-known being FARC. FARC has fighters over a significant part of Colombia and is financed largely by drugs trafficking. Bogota has sought US help to reduce cocaine production and so hit FARC financially. The two countries signed the Columbia Plan in Washington in 1999. It was the start of the largest crackdown on drugs production in any producer country, with a $1 billion budget. Spraying was stepped up right up to the border with Ecuador. The Columbia Plan is still in operation. This footage, filmed in 2004, shows there is awareness of the dangers. People are using gloves, boots and aprons to protect themselves from glyphosate, one of the ingredients in Roundup, produced by the American company Monsanto. The plastic tubs are full of glyphosate mixed with other chemical products. They are marked NAS, Narcotics Affairs Section, the anti-drug unit of the US Embassy in Bogota. It is clearly stated that the chemicals are dangerous. Colombian police are in charge of all anti-cocaine operations.
Buenos días. Buenos días.
Buenos días.
They decided to cancel our permission to film on the ground. We only secured a meeting with them after lengthy negotiations.
The plant absorbs the poison, the glyphosate, through its leaves when we spray.
So you do call it a poison?
It's a plant poison.
So just for a plant?
Yes, just that.
The colonel, the only official who agreed to speak to us, firmly defends the spraying operation. He doesn't believe it is causing people's health problems.
They are living in a tropical climate, prone to the development of infections and rashes. Tropical illnesses affect the skin and health generally. These illnesses have nothing to do with glyphosate, which is what they are saying.
So you'd agree to us fumigating your house to prove that?
Absolutely.
And your family would too?
Absolutely.
And your children too?
I am absolutely certain that, well, I'm absolutely certain that with the studies we have, I have absolutely no worries.
We headed back to Ecuador to learn more. The authorities in Colombia have discredited all the studies about the dangers of Roundup. It is a sensitive issue. Professor César Paz y Miño at the University of the Americas in Quito has studied the effects of the spraying on Ecuadorians at the border. He says 10% of them could have severe health problems.
They face three kinds of risk. Developing cancer is the main one. That's the case for around 1 in 10 of them. And then babies born deformed or miscarriages. Colombia has said in discussions with the Ecuadorian government that they have used glyphosate in concentrations of 26 to 44% diluted in water. However, the manufacturer's instructions advise a concentration of 1 to 3%. And in addition to the glyphosate, they have added a product called POEA and another one called Cosmoflux to get the plant's leaves to absorb the main chemical more.
The professor's conclusions only came to light thanks to an activist group, Ecology Action, and its doctor, Adolfo Maldonado. He has taken blood and soil samples and taken photos to build up a dossier of evidence.
Que lo podemos poner un poquito más cercanos, ¿no? Estas sí son de las... Fue fumigado.
We went to an area where there had been aerial spraying a week earlier, and you can see that everything was destroyed, totally burnt. Most people in the area now can't eat the locally grown plantain, which is a more important part of their diet than rice. It's a main staple for the population.
As well as harming crops, his files show that children and animals have suffered from the airdrops of Roundup. 25 schools have been closed in years past because of the spraying.
Children fell ill. Some of them got spots. Others had headaches, fevers. They were feeling ill. Some of them had stomach pains. Many pupils were off school because of it.
There's also been a psychological impact, as seen in these drawings by 10-year-olds. The boy who did this one, Wilmer Castillo, is now 19 and still lives in the local area. I don't know if you remember.
Yes, of course. It was in 2004. I drew a child with spots because that is what happened to us. And the plants were in a really bad state. And there is a tomb to show what damage the spraying was doing. They were killing with this kind of fumigation.
And you and your family were here.
Of course, my little brother died. That was in 2000, 2001. Everything was fine when he was born, but then he got spots, rashes and other things. The same illness. Other babies were getting it.
La misma enfermedad de los niños.
Ecuador's President Rafael Correa, currently in his third term, has taken up the cause of the victims over the years. Left-wing, he has strained ties with the United States and Colombia. He lodged a formal complaint in 2008 against Bogotá with the International Court of Justice in The Hague about the fumigations. That led to Colombia agreeing to suspend spraying in a 10-kilometer security area along the border. 6 years later, Correa signed a pact with Bogotá in which he withdrew the complaint in exchange for a $15 million payout. That gave Bogotá the right to carry out fumigations up to 2 kilometers from the border. Colombia then emerged the winner. Ecuadorian farmers have only one hope left, and it is in Quito, where a firm of lawyers is on the case.
We represent a little over 2,000 Ecuadorian clients. They are plaintiffs against the American firm DynCorp, which manages the spraying.
Their case could come to court in the United States in 2017, after more than 15 years of legal wrangling against those under contract to Washington. American officials in Bogotá declined to see us. It was impossible to get past the doors of the U.S. Embassy. Colombia has fumigated around 2 million hectares of coca land in the last 20 years with American military and financial support. The U.S. describes the spraying operation as a success. Pedro Arenas, a spokesman for the NGO Indipaz, sees things differently. He was an MP in Colombia's Guaviare region, an area where coca planting started in the 1970s and which still produces the plant.
Sometimes people think that the Colombia plan has been successful because the area of land used to grow coca has fallen from 160,000 hectares to around 50,000 since the plan came into operation. But that figure of the area of land producing coca has stabilized over the last 3 years, and it's believed it will remain stable. And at the same time, there's more coca production in Peru and in Bolivia too. So if you look at the Andes region as a whole, it's still producing the same amount of cocaine for export, the same amount produced before the Colombia plan. The fumigation's been successful insofar as it's cut off a good part of the revenue source for insurgent groups, but they're a total failure in terms of the cost to people on the land, in terms of their human rights. And they're a failure because we still have coca production in Colombia.
As we brought our report to an end, Ecuadorian children living along the San Miguel River complained to us again about nausea, vomiting and stomach pain. Fumigations in recent months resumed 5 kilometers from the border.
That report from our correspondents Marc Bouchage and Maud Rieu. You can see that report again on our website, of course, at www.france24.com. You can also tune in again next week to see the next edition of Reporters. Thanks very much indeed for being with us.